everyone. Did I say hey? Oh my god. My urbaness has come in. So today we're going to be talking about this NIVEA Sun Protect Moisture SPF50 plus UVA 5 pluses sunscreen. This sunscreen is an SPF50 plus sunscreen. It's broad spectrum. I would say hybrid sunscreen because it contains mineral filters like titanium dioxide, a nano form of it, as well as other UV filters. I don't want to bore you guys. I'm going to be listing the filters in the description box. Also, this sunscreen comes in a blue plastic packaging with a yellow flip cap top. It has, of course, the name of the sunscreen in front, as well as, it talks about being having a skin microbiome balance, as well as being water resistant. Ocean respect, that's because it's free of UV filters like Octisalate, Avobenzone, and Octocrylene. A particular research really showed it being dangerous to coral reefs, even though that has been multiply discountenanced by other scientists in the community to say that it's not actually the sunscreens that are actually at the concentration at which they're normally used that might be causing these issues. But guys, before I go further, let's get to the application of this sunscreen. And I got this for I think about 7,000. I'll have to put that somewhere so that you can see it, but be conscious though, because when you go shopping for it, you would actually see the SPF30 version as well, so you want to be able to differentiate between the two. I usually always just reach for SPF50. So it has a heavy cream texture. When you put it on your face, it takes some rubbing in. If you've tried any of the Asian and Korean sunscreen that have a very light watery texture, this one is a bit more heavy, and so it does take some blending in before it goes in. It dries to a natural finish. What I mean by that is it doesn't leave you oily or greasy, and at the same time it's definitely not matte. However, it sinks in and leaves some sort of whitish powdery kind of tone on your skin. So if you've ever, if you've been sweating and you wiped your sweat and applied white powder on your face, that look that you get, that is what I somehow feel with this sunscreen. It doesn't sting around the eyes, of course, except you rub it in. When it comes to fragrance, yes, this sunscreen definitely has fragrance in it. It's actually strong, and initially when you apply it, you can you can actually just perceive that fragrance, but as time goes on, it kind of gets toned down. This sunscreen contains alcohol denatured. I was quite surprised when I saw that it had alcohol denatured on it, because the texture is quite heavy, and I'm more used to seeing sunscreens that have alcohol in them being light, watery, easily absorbed in the skin. So that's kind of took me aback a little. Now, when you want to take down this sunscreen, water alone or water and mild soap or something is not going to cut it, because if you try to use just soap on it, it's like, because yes, the brand manufacturers say it is water resistant, but I noticed that when I put my hand under water, like running water, the water seems to be able to get under it. But still, especially on my feet, for some reason it doesn't come off easily. I have to actually scrub with a sponge to get it off my skin, especially on my feet. But when it comes to, so I either do that or I just use like an oil cleansing body wash. So something like the Bioderma kind, or even the Naturium multi-glow oil wash. I use that and I'm able to kind of disperse the sunscreen particles and get it out of my skin. So let's talk about reapplication. On the first application of this sunscreen, yes, it begs the question, does it give a white cast? Yes, of course, it does give a white cast. It might not be very obvious like some others, but it gives a white cast reminiscent of how the Altruist sunscreen gives white cast on people of my skin tone. So that means if you're somewhat lighter than I am, much fairer, you might not notice the white cast. The first application, eventually it kind of tones down as time goes on, but it's still there. If you go ahead to apply the second layer as you are seeing from this video, you are going to notice, you know, the white cast actually come up even more. In terms of makeup, this sunscreen works well under makeup. Do you know why? Because I have it on here right now. So it does work well under makeup. In terms of how long it's going to last before you start seeing oiliness break through and all that, well, I can't really tell because I have dry skin. What is my verdict about this sunscreen? It's actually affordable for the 200 ml volume that it has. And it's broad spectrum. It covers both UVB and UVA. So UVB, the burning rays, UVA, the aging rays. Especially for somebody that has hyperpigmentation, getting a sunscreen like this would actually be helpful. But there are also other types and other varieties of broad spectrum high UVA sunscreens out there that would also do this job and would encourage you to use and use properly. So for me, this sunscreen does leave a white cast on someone of my skin tone, and that's a real bummer for me. In fact, the cast is so heavy on my feet and, you know, patchy areas of, you know, really dry areas of my body, like my elbows and my knuckles. So it's not something that I'm, you know, keen on wearing often. So if I am done with this bottle, I most likely will not in fact, I would not repurchase this particular sunscreen. I'm so sorry. So after applying, just apply some powder on top of it. You can use that to tone down the white cast that it gives. I already have a video, you know, in my playlist where I talk about how to cover up white cast from sunscreens using foundation, and that video has really taken off because a lot of people have found it very helpful. So I would suggest you also go, once you're done watching this video, go and actually watch that video. If this video has been very helpful for you, please don't forget to like. I would love to hear from you in the comment section, and subscribe. Remember to keep your skincare simple, short and sweet. Remain beautiful.